welcome to Camp Crystal Lake. I mean, the horror next door. With the upcoming Friday the 13th television show on the horizon, I thought I would compile a little list of things that I would like to see in the show and some things that I would not like to see. A little info dump for you real quick. The show is going to be called Crystal Lake. It will be premiering on the Peacock streaming service. It's being produced by A24, the studio which made such films as Hereditary, X, and Midsummer. The showrunner is Brian Fuller, who brought us the Hannibal television show, which is great, by the way. If you haven't seen it, you should go and check it out. And those of you worried about rights issues, fear not. It has already been revealed that the show will have full access to everything we love about the series. Nothing is off the table, according to Brian Fuller, who said they can even go to space if they wanted to. The show is slated for a summer 2024 release, but we shall see. Now that is out of the way, let's begin the list with things that I do not want to see in the new Crystal Lake television show. Starting off the list of things I don't want to see is ignoring the hardcore fans. I feel like some companies take the hardcore fan base for granted. They think they can ignore pleasing them and just focus on trying to bring in a new audience. Case in point, I know it's not horror related, but the new Halo television show, Hellcat is a huge Halo fan and was so excited for that show, but we both couldn't even get through the first season. And from what I've gathered online, she isn't the only Halo fan to just give up on the show. The makers of that show completely ignored so many things that make Halo, Halo. And it shows. Like, why can't Master Chief just leave his helmet on? If the Crystal Lake show ignores its hardcore fans in a similar way, this show is doomed. Another thing that I don't want to see is cringy social media stuff. Not every character has to be glued to their phone and making TikToks. It's fine in a small dose, but it doesn't need to be a huge thing where it's just lame and dates the show. We also just don't need to hear someone say, "You're gonna get canceled, bro." You can relate to the audience and bring in new viewers without using the idea of,
"Hey, kids these days like TikTok. How do we incorporate that?"
Instead, use your imagination and not corporate gimmicks. The next thing I really don't want to see in this new show is off-screen kills. This is Friday the 13th, a slasher movie franchise that has been around for over 40 years. We all come to see the kills and the gore, so please, no off-screen kills. An off-screen kill is really a buzzkill. I am aware that not every kill needs to be a huge spectacle of special effects wizardry, but we would like to see something. Please don't cut away. The next thing I'm going to keep short and sweet, and that is that we do not need any politics in this show. I don't care what side of the aisle that you are on. We don't need agendas pushed in either direction. We just want a compelling, entertaining story about Jason with some fun kills and light humor. I don't need messages shoved down my throat at the same time. Thanks. The last thing I don't want to see in the new Crystal Lake show would be to have Jason speak. I'm not talking about the adult Jason speaking because we all know how dumb that would be. What I mean is having young Jason speak. It goes without saying that there will be some scenes with young Jason and his mother Pamela, which is all fine and dandy. But I really think it would be great if they kept Jason to very little word usage, or not even saying a word. I almost picture him communicating with grunts and things like that, but his mother understands him. Then, when they inevitably show the scene of Jason drowning in the lake, he can finally speak on screen with audible helps. It would make the drowning much more impactful because we, as the audience, haven't really heard him speak and don't even really know if he can. Jason's cries for help would be much more gut-wrenching. So those were the things I don't want to see. Let's move on to the things that I do want to see. The first thing I would like to see in this new television show would be to bring back Derek Mears to play Jason Voorhees. I am all the way with Derek Mears returning to play our masked slasher. For those of you not in the know, Derek Mears played Jason in the 2009 Friday the 13th film. And despite what you think of the overall product, I think we can all agree that his portrayal of Jason was damn good. However, if he's not available or he just turns it down for whatever reason, then I think finding someone new and young to fill the role would be the best way to go. We need a strong, fast, scary Jason. And I think as long as they found someone in good enough shape to pull it off, then this Jason would be frightening. Also, whoever this actor is needs to sign on to be Jason throughout the duration of the show. We shouldn't be shuffling our Jason actor from season to season. The second thing I would like to see is a lot of adult Jason. So let's be real for a second. The last film in the series came out in 2009. This show is said to debut this year in 2024. That makes this 15 years since we've seen Jason stalking the woods. 16 years if for some reason it gets pushed to a 2025 premiere. So the point I'm getting at is that we need to see adult Jason right away. This series has been labeled by the producer as a prequel remake of sorts. I really hope that there is a dual storyline going on throughout the show, one in present day with adult Jason killing around the camp with a set of characters that we follow. Then flashbacks throughout the show with Pamela and young Jason and a set of characters that we possibly get attached to in the flashbacks. Perhaps the connection could be that one of the main characters in the present day is related to one of the characters in the flashbacks. Doing something like this will allow them to show us adult Jason within each episode and see all the slashing he does best. In my opinion, if the show were to linger on Pamela and young Jason for episodes at a time, I think the show would lose steam fast, especially with the mainstream audience. Show us adult Jason in the first episode and don't take him away. Show us what we've been missing for the past 15 years. The third thing on my list would be to bring back legacy actors from the Friday the 13th films for random appearances. It has already been pretty much confirmed that Adrienne King, who played Alice in the first two Friday the 13th films, will be appearing in the show in some capacity. But why stop there? What if the main characters visit some of the stores in town and Ken Kersinger is working at a gas station? Or Amy Steele is a waitress at the diner? Maybe CJ Graham shows up at some point as a tow truck driver. Maybe even Tom Matthews or Stephen Williams could appear as a new Crazy Ralph type character. I could go on all day, but you get the point. Mainstream audiences wouldn't know who any of these people are, but that's fine. It would be for us diehard fans to enjoy, which is kind of a continuation of my don't ignore the hardcore fans I spoke about before. Before I get to the next thing on my list, something dawned on me while writing this video. That is, what if Adrienne King is playing Pamela Voorhees? It hasn't been confirmed what Adrienne King's role will be on the show, but could you imagine that? I think it goes without saying that I would be completely okay with this decision, and I think if I had to pick someone to play Pamela, then why not Adrienne King? If she's willing to do it, of course. If this becomes a thing on the show, you heard it here first. The fourth thing on my list that I would like to see is more of adult Jason by himself. In a typical movie, you have about 90 minutes of on-screen action, so I can understand them not showing Jason as much as we would like. Assuming that this TV show will have hour-long episodes, if one season is about 10 episodes, for example, then you will have 10 hours of screen time in just one season. That is plenty of time to show us Jason walking around Camp Crystal Lake by himself. I don't know about you, but the idea of seeing Jason just calmly walking around the camp going about his business seems very interesting to me. We got a small glimpse of this in the 2009 Friday the 13th film, but in the television show they could have much more time to expand on this and give us more. Lastly, I think the television show should finally introduce us to Jason's dad, Elias Voorhees. Elias has been featured in comic book form but never on film. The character was in the original script for Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, but was cut before being shot. I think since this is a television show, they could have the character finally make an appearance. Seeing Elias interact with both young Jason and Pamela would be something we have never seen. That being said, I think if anyone were to play Jason's father, Kane Hodder would be my choice. I think not only would it be neat to finally see Jason's dad on screen, but for us Friday the 13th nerds would get even more joy out of seeing Kane Hodder once again on screen in the franchise. Maybe Elias can even go on a little rampage of his own, which initially gets the camp shut down. Then, when it's attempted to be reopened, Pamela heads to the camp to start her own rampage. Just a thought. If you have listened this far, then I have a Brucey bonus thing that I would like to see in the new show. That is, please, at some point in the duration of the show, for however many seasons we get to have, please show Jason unmasked. Jason has not been unmasked on screen since Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, which was released in 1989. If you are curious what Jason would have looked like in the sequels that preceded Jason Takes Manhattan, then check out our Jason Unmasked video series here on the channel. I think you'll enjoy it. Well, that is it for now. Let us know in the comments what you would like to see in the new Crystal Lake show and what you wouldn't like to see. We anticipate the release of the trailer for the Crystal Lake television show. When that day comes, we will probably end up doing a special video dedicated just for that. So be sure that you are subscribed to not miss it. And remember, he's down there. Until next time.